Hey guys, welcome back to part number 5 of my Heinkel 111 build. So we've got all the dirty, tough work out of the way, now we get to the fun stuff and we get painting. So let's go ahead and get started. Hey guys, welcome back. Hope you had a great week and we got through the messy, tough construction. Now we get into the fun painting. So here she is. I have to keep keeping it upside down because these little gun things stick out and they're bending and it's a pain in the ass. But anyway, so masked up the engine and the bomb bay right here from last week. And we're ready to get some primer down. So there's all kinds of problems here. I think join issues and sanding and filling we did. So we need to get primer down so we can see how it looks. And I'm sure there'll be some more work we need to do to tidy this up. But first thing is the primer. So before we do that, we've got so much glass work. We need to do the inside of the interior color, which is going to be XF22, which is the RLM2, I believe. And we're going to basically spray all the glass work with this. So obviously being clear, that's the color you can see from the inside. So we're going to do that first, and then once that's done, then we can come back and do the primer. So do that first, and then as always, the primer is going to be Mr. Surfacer 1500 Black. So I'll get cracking with that, and we'll be right back. Alright, so painted all the glass areas here with the interior color, and back there and up here. You see there's a bit of a step. At this point, I don't really care if it's clear parts. It's so hard to get this together. It is what it is. I can't go back and sand the clear parts. It's going to be too much work. So go as is, it'll be fine. And back here, put a little bit of foam down so we get a bunch of paint down here too. So that's all done. Looking good. Let it dry for a few minutes and I'll come back with my Mr. Surfacer 1500 Black and give the whole thing a nice prime coat of black. Okay, so I've primed it in black and I came back with some white, and as always, the shower coat. So just hit the inside of the panels, basically really rough and really quick, just to kind of break it up and create your pre-shading effect. So with the dark colors on top here, you're not going to probably see any of this, but for the blue, hopefully you can see some of it underneath as well. So did that, then I painted the wheelbase with the interior color we're using, which is the XF22, and just put a bit of foam in there, just to kind of mask it up. And then we're going to come back and spray the lower side with blue, which is going to be XF23. I only got a little bit left in this, so hopefully I've got enough to cover the bottom. So we're going to paint the bottom first. Already you can see all these guns bending, and there's nothing you can do about that. I was almost tempted to just cut them all off and just glue them on at the end, but we'll see how we go. So I'll spray the whole underside blue, and then we need to mask it up, and then we'll do the camo and the dark color on top. Now before we do that, again, you've seen me do this many times before, but to get the paint work nice and smooth, again, with all these different shapes and stuff, you can get some rough patches. And normally you can tell by, whenever you can hear it on sound, I hold it to the microphone. You see the difference there? You can feel, just by feeling the sound, you feel it's rougher. And it's where, like the wing roots and where the curved parts meet, it's just naturally where the airflow from the airbrush comes. It just makes the paint more rough. So what you want to do is you just want to simply take a sanding sponge and just and then sand it. I mean, you can just tell by your finger it feels smooth. So if you do that between each layer of paint, it really helps. So it's like when you make a car or paint a car in real life even, each coat is going to be really smooth, otherwise it just gets worse, progressively worse as you go along. So like again, like around these, where the engines, like the cells are, just again, a little bit rough, just a quick sand and now it's smooth. And just really just feeling my way around and just giving it all everywhere, just a quick smooth. I've already did this part. Just with your finger, and you can just feel it like there's a rough part. And again, now it's smooth. So this is smooth, a little bit rough here. So just feeling around again, and just getting the paint all nice and smooth, and then a nice preparation and surface for it to for the blue paint to go down on. So we're good now. So I'm just going to take my anti-static brush, which is reaching across here, my Tamiya one, which is also a great buy. Highly recommend you guys have these. Just wipe away any dust and get the paint nice and clean. And on the other side, obviously. And now we're ready to spray. So I'm going to take some spray booth. I'm going to spray a nice thin light coat of this blue all over the bottom here, and hopefully we can see some pre-shading coming through. If not, we can do post-shading. So if it's darker color, typically I'll do a post-shading where you just put your coat down and then you lighten the color, and we'll do the same thing but in reverse. With light color, you can actually do the pre-shading. Hopefully it will show through. So good shape, we're looking good. So let's go ahead to the paint booth and I'll be right back. All right, so In my haste, I forgot to show you what scheme we're doing, so I guess it would help. I normally like to show it at the beginning of the episode, but anyway, so we're doing this guy, which is Russia, April 43. Why this one? Because you've got nice bands of yellow, and it kind of creates more visual interest than just the boring kind of usual stuff. Here's like looking down, obviously the splinter camo. So, we've done the blue. Looking pretty good. I can get sand and rough it up and create some weathering and stuff. But first of all, I'm going to mask it up, and then we're going to come back and paint the dark green on the top, which is going to be, according to instructions, XF61. So we're going to paint that, and then once that dry, we can mask up and then paint the splinter camo and stuff in a little bit. But yeah, come along nicely. So let me mask it, get this thing painted, and we'll be right back. Alright, so we've got some paint down here, and there we go. Now, the black green, is it black green, black gray, black green? What is it? Black green, XF27. It's a lot more greenier than I imagined. I thought it'd be darker, and I'm just seeing there's a bit of a spill there, so I need to touch that up a little bit. Actually, I don't, because that's going to be yellow, right? Yeah, it's going to be yellow at the end, so I don't have to worry about that. But yeah, so XF27 on top of the XF61. Sorry, the light, you're not going to see that very. There you go. There's not much difference in there, is there? The tones. I mean, the camera picks it up a little bit, but I mean, I thought it'd be a lot more darker than it was. But anyway, I'm going to weather it all back anyway. So, did break off, finally broke off that gun at the bottom. I'm surprised it lasted as long as it did, to be honest with you. Yeah. So, what's left to do here is mask off, which instructions aren't very clear at all. Yeah. I think I've got a good idea. So I'm going to mask off the ends, paint those yellow, and there's going to be a yellow band back here too. We need mask and paint. And we're done, pretty much, the main paint on this. So that's how we're looking. Again, it's two shades are very similar. But anyway, it's fine. And then, as always, when I want to weather stuff up, I'm just going to take my sponge and see how it's bringing up, making a nice kind of. But not only does it polish the paintwork and make it beautiful, but also adds some nice kind of weathering effects. And you can see here where I've done it. Kind of want to wait really to put yellow down and do it all at once, but I can't help myself. And what happens is it sounds the paint away, and you can see the white and the black primer undercoat, shadow coat coming through it, and it creates that nice kind of effect. And again, you can see on the wings, it's kind of looking. And also, again, like I said, it makes your paint work lovely and smooth. So there we go. I'm just going to work my way around it a little bit more. Like I said, I really want to get the yellow down first, and we'll do it all together and weather it all in. So that's how she's looking. Yeah, it's going to look a lot different too. Remember, all this is glass at the front, so once you peel off all these masking tapes and stuff at the front, it's going to look a lot more different as well. But yeah, a little bit. For a bit of curveball there, I wasn't expecting that to look like that. The black green, I thought it'd be more of a darker, blackier color than the dark green, basically. But anyway, I'm not a Luftwaffe or a World War II expert, but. There we go, blue underside, and that's how we're looking. So, cool. I'm going to leave this overnight. It's getting late now, and I'll mask it up and paint the yellow in the morning, and we'll come back, and we'll be pretty much finished with this one. So, almost done. Really enjoyed masking this one up and painting it, but once again, just really hard to hold it. The gun sticking out and stuff, and it's just really tricky to hold it. It's one of those things where you always say it, but when you get the instructions, if you're a newbie, never ever follow the instructions. Like, you never put the pitot tubes on and all that kind of stuff early on, because it just gets in the way, makes things difficult, and you always leave it to the end. But with this, the way it builds, you have to put all these little guns in because it's in the interior. So there's no way the windows go from the inside, so you have to put all this stuff on. It's just a nuisance. But yeah, that's my main complaint with this one. It's just really hard to handle and work with and stuff because of that. But anyway, we're getting there. And it's coming on nicely. I'm glad the paint's down. Once we get those decals on, the yellow bands, it's really going to kind of pop, right? Alright, enough waffling. Let me put aside, do the yellow, and we'll come back. Okay, so it's the following morning and we've sprayed the yellow. See on here. Oh, on the ends, tips, and that's, the structures aren't very clear at all in this one. So let me kind of show you what I got going on. So it's that, and like from that you can't really tell where the yellow goes. And I thought it went on top as well, but look at some pictures online on Google Images. It looks like it's just on the underside. The yellow isn't on the top, so I don't know. So I went with that. So I didn't paint the upper side of the wings, just the lower. And again, from this, it's kind of crap. It's hard to tell where it really goes. So what I did was looked at the lower, and I figured, just with some kind of investigation, kind of it looked like the yellow stops like one kind of panel before the iron cross on the bottom. So I looked for the iron cross on here. And so I figured the yellow kind of goes to this line right here, approximately. But again, you have to use your judgment there. So again, not very good color callouts. It shows you that one version here, but on here it's a little bit kind of hard to figure out. But again, so I went the one panel line before and painted the yellow, and looking good. I say this all the time, but I'll say it again. If you're new to spraying, airbrushing and stuff, don't just hose it all on. Just be very careful, low pressure. So I'm using about 10-12 psi for most of my spraying, and I just very lightly. I don't pull the trigger all the way back, just slightly, and just mist it all on gently. And then what you can do is you can see that effect where you can, hopefully on the camera, we got the pre-shading coming through, and it looks more natural. So that's what we did there. Also painted the band at the back. I just followed the panel line, and then I just eyeballed it, and I took the decal and I saw that it was just a little bit wider than the G that goes on here. So I just basically then taped up the second and then sprayed it all on again to paint the yellow band there, and we're looking really cool. So again, on the top I left it alone, unmolested, and just did the bottom. Now I did come around and again use my sanding sponge and just really kind of smooth it all out, and this is like smooth as a baby's bottom right now. It is so smooth, so looking really good. So what as you can see, I've gone around. You see some odd white parts coming through from from the shadow coat we did, which is perfect. On the side here, you can see it looks all kind of messed up a little bit, and that's exactly what I want, to weather it down, and again, different areas just to make it kind of more realistic and worn. Do some more on the wings, I think, as well. And again, I was a little bit, I don't know, the color differences are very similar between the green and the black green on here. I wish there was a little bit more of a variation. In hindsight, I could go back and add a little bit more black or something, change it. But at this point, I'm not going to mask it all and do it again. I think it will be fine. So in the light, you can see probably better the splinter camo. But yeah, we're looking good. And I've taken off the mask in the engine as well at this point. And we should be good to go. So I'm not going to take obviously any masking off the windows yet, because we've got to clear coat this, and once it's all clear coated and finished at the very end, then we can start thinking about the last part, taking all this masking off and seeing all the canopy glass and stuff. So I'm going to wrap this video up now. I think we've got good progress, and we'll come back next week and we'll put the decals on. So normally I'd probably put a gloss clear coat like an LP9 Tamiya lacquer thinner, Tamiya lacquer paint down to get it all nice and glossy for the decals. But this is so smooth, I'm just going to put them straight down on here, and then we'll gloss over it before we put the wash on for the panel line wash. But yeah, it's coming along nicely. Hopefully you enjoyed this one this week, and I'll see you next week. Have a great week. Goodbye.